Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of Chronicles reviews of our spoiler-filled trip of The Last of Us. I'm myself, Scooter Ray, aka Scooter Lou, aka yeah. We have Aranya Miss, aka the Final Girl. We have Cosmic Boss at the bottom, aka Cordyceps King, aka King Cordy.
And Aranya is not the final girl. She is the gore whore. That is what she is.
I am a gore whore. We saw a shirt yesterday, and I was like, I need it. It says gore whore.
But yeah, so episode 5 of The Last of Us debuted Friday because, today, as we're recording, the Super Bowl Sunday, so The Last of Us was like, you know what, fam, we'll let the Super Bowl be the Super Bowl, so we'll drop this episode Friday. Thoughts? Initial thoughts of the episode before we roll into it? Just, was it good, bad, happy, sad?
It was sad.
It's all things.
Okay.
I would say probably my favorite episode of the season.
Okay, so, if you're new here, we are collectively Less Than Stealthy Ninjas, Twitch streamers, content creators. Check us out on YouTube, Twitch, Spotify for audio, Apple for audio, and things of that nature. So what we like to do with these reviews, Boss and I played the game. Aranya hasn't. So we like to get her point of view as we kind of walk through the episode, see how she feels and see how she felt about it. And then we'll, on the back half, talk about the comparisons between that section of the show and that section of the game. So if you've been keeping up, we're now in the area of Sam and Henry. And for the ones who played the game, we already knew Sam and Henry's fate. We knew their fate. It still hit just as hard, and we'll get to that part, but still hit just as hard. But yeah, so let's start with the beginning of the episode. Yeah, it to live in this world that Naughty Dog so carefully crafted is wild. Because we saw that that the citizens took over Kansas City. They repelled Fedra and they was going ham.
Here's the thing, and I think the game also did this too. They didn't show the downfall of the city.
No, they didn't.
If I remember right, there was some notes or something that said
it was notes. Oh, and
Fedra was doing this shit.
Well, hold on, boss. And for comparison, if you never played the game, the show took place in Kansas City. The games, this area took place in Pittsburgh. So yeah, go ahead, boss.
But it's not a big thing. Like, you didn't see any landmarks.
No, you didn't.
To Pittsburgh, so you wouldn't have known unless they told you. But in the game, there was notes that said what had happened. Like, nobody talked about it. You didn't see any part of it. In this, they showed it. And when Henry explained, they were I heard when Joel said, I heard Kansas City Fedra were monsters. Yeah, raping and killing people for 20 plus years is I see why they did them boys that dirty. Because that kind of treatment for 20 years built up. Damn.
It's gonna lead to an uprising.
Right. And then the way they treated the collaborators who just were trying to work within the system. It's okay, y'all are basically just as bad now. Because you putting blame on people who just wanted to live in peace. Right. You.
No. Not only that, can we talk about the fact? Now, I've never been to Kansas City, so I don't know how big Kansas City is as far as comparable to where we live, but we ain't telling y'all because some of y'all little, The fact that they remembered who these collaborators were.
Right. And like I imagine, like, if you were one of the ones that got snitched on by your neighbor, you'd be like, oh, I'm gonna remember you.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, of course, yeah.
like, you know, like, but the way they just were able to round them people up,
Salem witch trials.
that was shocking. But yeah, like, they showed basically, and what the series has always been about is, yes, there are infected and horrifying monsters in this world, but the infected are not the horrifying monsters in this world. like
So,
you meet some gruesome infected, but it's the humans.
We met one later in the episode.
Look, and I'll say this: of the two games, 2.5, he is mild. He is mild at this point. But yeah, go ahead, continue. Because
so Aranya, what was you thinking around this time when we were seeing the end of the uprise and the citizens taking the city back? What was going through your head during all of this?
Well, you know, I despise those Salem witch trial groups, and I always wish death upon them in every movie, show, whatever. I always wish a gruesome death. Gore horror here, you know. And I don't know, the scene where, I don't know names, y'all know I'm not good with names, but the chick that suffers from, when she was talking to that man who protected her,
Harry,
sure, and she was saying that her brother was like, forgive, and you was just like, I hear what you saying, but fuck all that. Really? You have pitted your life, your existence on this whole revenge, you know, theory. You're executing people, you're doing crazy stuff. And
but yeah, just to rewind it to the beginning of the episode, like you said, she was like, yeah, we ain't gonna kill y'all. Come on now. Like, we just want to know where they all at. And then, like Boss said last episode, the angriest kindergarten teacher, she just walked in there, look, just burn the bodies, it'd be easier. And it'd be like, hey, yo.
And look, she said that to her Ace Boone goon with the most annoyed tone. So when he asked, he's like, we're not really giving them a trial, are we? He's like, no, just burn the bodies when you're done. That'll be easier. It's like, dude, what? Like, come on.
My thing about the whole vengeance thing, and don't get me wrong, you know, there's lots of movies, revenge movies and things of that nature. I just don't understand what you are expecting once you kill that person or that group of people.
So to put a pin in what you just said, not to put a pin, but to foreshadow, that is the big theme of The Last of Us 2. The whole, is revenge worth it? That's one of the bigger themes of The Last of Us 2. Is revenge worth it? And how far are you willing to go? And what are you willing to lose for revenge?
Like both
games. That's a big thing. So they kind of did a little bit of foreshadowing with The Last of Us 2 within this episode.
Right. Like both games, and I think the creator, Neil, said it, like the first one is about love and the length you go to for it and the spectrum it has. So, like, essentially, Kathleen loved her brother so much, like when she was in her room giving that little speech about what they went through and how they were raised and all that, she was like, damn, whatever else is going on, my brother only wanted to help people and got nothing for his trouble. Where's the justice in that? Like Joel doing this whole thing for his love for Tess, getting motivated further because of the love of Bill and Frank, you know, and not to get into any spoilers, any specifics. We're gonna see some further atrocities because of love later in this show. The second game is about hate and the cycle of it. And just, I'm going to leave it at that. But
yes.
I just,
But then,
again, I
okay.
go back. I'm sorry. I go back to this initial feeling that we were discussing before. If we are in the apocalypse and there are crusty, yucky mushroom people running the fuck around, just mutant toad, okay? And I would probably be pissed off if somebody was, killed unjustly. But number one, that's something that we deal with every day anyway. And number
Yes.
two, my main goal is survival. I am not going to risk my life to go find somebody else to try to kill them when the ground is dented in and it's like breathing. There's all kinds of yucky cordyceps creatures running around. You could get bit at any moment. I'm trying to live my best life that I can in the apocalypse. I will not be risking my life to go hunt down a man with a rock and his boys. I'm not going to do it. Look, Irania's soup kitchen. If anything, poison them in the soup.
To kind of go off what you said, we further see what Sam and Henry went through to get to where their paths crossed with Joel and Ellie. And I even love the human aspect of, hey, now the deal is, once we take the guns off of you, you ain't gonna harm us, right? Because like Sam was really, that's not Sam. Henry was really like, I don't know what I'm doing here, but I think we got the upper hand. So, and then, further conversations and things like that. And then to kind of go off of what Boss was saying, her conversation between Henry and Joel, we find out that collaborators, you're the scum of the earth. You seem like you worse than the federal agents, because Joel heard that he was collaborating. I ain't working with no rat.
Right. Called him to a rat to his face. Like, damn. Like
he said it as if he was gonna rat him out that they were there. Like,
right.
Like just to be a collaborator, you seem like you're the lowest of the low. Like you're scum at this point.
That's it. I need a backstory as to how it got to that point of like why collaborators would be listed as the low of the low. Because
we heard what Henry did.
Yeah, but I mean, my thing is this. All right, it's three of us, okay? We in the abandoned city of San Antonio, all right?
Mm-hmm.
And we trying to survive off the tacos that we stole from HEB, all right? We trying to live, all right? And let's say Boss is kidnapped, because I think he would break first. He's singing like a bird. He is kidnapped, and they are threatening to cut his baby toe off, which means he can't walk no more, so he can't run from the cordyceps. If we got Boss back, all right, and he told them, hey, it's a whole group of us at the HEB warehouse just eating tortillas. I mean, why you mad at that man and they was going to cut his toe off and he can't run no more? You know what I'm saying? Like, I seriously, like, yeah, you put us in danger, but at the same time, you are a human being. And yes, there's like 5 brave people left in the world, right? That's like, I don't care. I'm the hero. But most of us are like this. You going to cut off my toe so I can't run from the cordyceps no more?
But then not only that, but like what Boss also said earlier, Kansas City federal agents was the most notoriously known. Right. So if you're quote unquote snitching or quote unquote information, ease the torture on you.
Right. If somebody told Boss that they was gonna essay him with a broom and he sang like a bird, if he came back with tears in his eyes like they was gonna essay me with a broom and the broom was shards, I'd be like, man, just come on. We're gonna find somewhere else. We gonna go to Austin now. Okay, we gonna travel to Austin because that's not fair. Like, oh, so he's supposed to just be like, oh, well, that's fine if they harm me and pillage me and rip off parts of my skin and essay me with a broom. I'm not giving nothing in. That's a lie. Come on.
Right.
Like, because we saw in the first episode, not the first, the second episode, or was it? Well, first 2 episodes, whatever. we saw when people tried to leave a quarantine zone, they drug your ass back and hung you.
Yeah.
Like there was no just like, oh, why don't you just leave? We fucking can't.
Right.
Like, so you're right. I be singing
But no.
louder than Toucan Sam follows
But
Fruit
no.
Loops.
But even look at it this way. Look at the fact that how the world is now. If they're that notoriously known, they was doing some atrocities. Because
Yes.
communication can't be the easiest thing to go at.
No.
So if people all over the US was like, yo, it's fucked up in Kansas City, y'all.
Right.
Obviously, they was doing some madness out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then, like I said, so the four agreed. Oh, now, Last of Us TV show. Shame on y'all for what y'all did with Sam and Henry by making Sam deaf. That was uncalled for.
Oh, he wasn't deaf in the game?
No.
Whoa.
No.
Y'all don't have to yell at me.
No, it's not a yelling at you. It's a yelling at the
that
show because it's that extra
boy.
layer.
Right.
It's
Like
the
they
extra
made
layer.
him much more reliant on his brother.
Yeah.
Than
Remember
he
what we
was in the
said
game.
last time? They made him younger as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
He's
like
8.
right. He was 8 in the game. He's like 13. So he in the game was talking. He was kind of a happy child, not so well as happy as you could be
As happy as you could be, yes.
in this world. And he was still like, trying to be independent, but his brother was still like had these rules like, what do we do? What do we talk about? This is how we got to survive. This, that, and the other, and all this. And like they made
how old
him
was Henry in the game?
like 13. He was like they implied it was a year. He's a year younger than Ellie in the game.
Wait, is
No,
one of them
Sam.
Sam?
No, talking about Henry. Henry had to have been like what, 16, 17?
In the game, he looked like mid-20s.
Oh yeah. He might have been like early 20s.
Like early to mid-20s in the game. Yeah. The show, he looked like late teens. So
Yeah, he looked like he was about 19, but that probably would take up for the same age difference
it was
between the two in the game and the
you
series.
just add 5 years.
Shout out to Taiki B because he did point out Sam was such the cutest little child.
Adorable. Man, when him and his brother painted that mask on him, I was like,
I was crying though.
I was like, man, no, y'all ain't gonna do this.
I was crying already.
Okay, so in the game, officially, Henry is 25, Sam is 13.
Right.
Okay.
Like, man, I was
crying already.
Like that dude was like, he was like, there's nothing we could do. We gonna ration his food out. Like, all right, we gotta go.
And then him sitting there signing, I'm hungry, when can we eat? And Sam is like, chill. I'm sorry. Henry is like, chill.
But you know what?
Chill.
This is my producer brain working. They only had, like in the game, how long do you have Sam and Henry?
About as long as that episode?
About 4 hours?
Really?
So,
well, about gameplay wise, you got them about 4 hours. Because remember, you had them that whole sewer thing, which was much more extensive than the show did.
Okay. So yeah, it all depends on how fast you progress through that area. But yeah, you had about 2 to 4 hours, depending on how fast you progress.
I'm thinking with the addition of the disability, they had to create a plausible connection that the audience would have with the characters quickly.
Yeah.
And really understand the love and because again, you said the theme is love, the love and the sacrifice of the two characters, because you only got like 45 minutes and you don't even really have them for the entire 45 minutes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to establish it pretty quick. And I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, but what better way than have a disability so that person is very much so reliant, especially in a world where noise is a big deal.
I'll say that is very well put, because you were very limited in the show. In the game, the entire time you're in Pittsburgh with them, you don't really trust them because Joel is not a trusting person.
Just not.
And there comes a point, like when Henry gave that plan, we get to that bridge, we make it across the bridge, we home free. That happens in the game. You're chased across the bridge in the game by them on that you remember their war trucks they were driving out on? One of them had them like a big old World War II machine gun on top, and they were just shooting at you. Eventually, you don't get across this bridge. You fall into the river and drift downstream. That's how you end up at the house, at the neighborhood where they were. You don't really, like, they don't come to you enforcing that, and that we gonna get to that other part that happens there, but that doesn't happen either. But then eventually you end up in the sewer, you explore the sewer, you get out.
You see that whole little area that was down there, the whole little community that they like. You see all of that down there.
And you saw that picture on the wall when they were down there talking about our protectors. You find a note or a couple notes in that sewer basically said this was a thriving community under here until an infected got in. And it was just one protector left with the children and the babies in this one room. And he sealed it off, and they ended there. You find them there. And so, but yeah, eventually you get out of there, and then you get to the hotel. You find out at some point Sam was bit. You don't know when. They don't show it. And it plays out almost exactly like it did in the show. But yeah, you have a lot more time with them in the game than you did in the show. So yeah, your point is very well put.
Oh, shout outs to Naughty Dog for Savage Starlight. I did appreciate that.
Yes. Look.
So remember that comic book, Savage Starlight?
Right.
So Naughty Dog has a habit of teasing their games within games. So when people saw the Savage Starlight comic books, they thought, is the next Naughty Dog game some type of space
sci-fi adventure? Like, and that was a rumor for a long time.
Yeah.
And it's still, and that was in 2013. We still don't have no sci-fi game from them yet. But and that's a collectible. You can find different issues of Savage Starlight in the first game.
So does Ellie like it in the game?
Oh yes, she loves it.
Okay.
Yes, she loves it. Yeah.
You find different comic books with her. I think it's trading cards, or is it joke books?
It's trading cards in the second game.
Trading cards in the second game. Thank you.
And comic books in the first one. And each time you collect the comic book, she'd be like, "Oh, I have not read this one." She has some kind of vocal about it. And it's just like, "Oh, I love this, but this is when she blah 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 blah," or like it is just like, "Oh, okay," you know, like it builds the character without them forcing or having more story.
Because once again, she was born into this. You know, she was born into this, and
that's why I asked, because I don't know.
Yeah. So no, how they making her character in the show? This whole foul mouth, so full of wonder and question, exactly how she is in the game. And then, like Boss said, they get to the other side. They think they're home free, and the next thing you know, they getting shot at by old Abernathy up there.
Old Abner up in that window.
Old Abner up there just shooting.
And then we felt like, and Joel points out, like he's bad shot. No, he was intentionally not trying to hit you just to keep you in place. Like, that was a clean setup, and I liked it.
Yeah, I hope when I'm that old that I can see that well, because I would have shot somebody in the neck on accident.
Well, I guess too. Well, I guess in his sense, nobody's supposed to be there.
Right.
So if you see anybody, especially walking, you're getting hit with the blick.
But I'm just saying, I have astigmatism at my age now. And if it's nighttime and I'm looking, I don't care if I'm looking through a little this or not. I don't know what I'm shooting. I could be shooting a fox. I don't know.
And that shit was wild because Joel was like, Abner, don't do it. Don't do it.
And he looked down. He thought 2 seconds. He was like. And
then, of course, we see Kathleen and the troops rolling up. mad vehicles
deep, boy. Like they brought everybody.
They
Right.
brought
Like,
everybody.
come on.
Because of
And
one
then-
collaborator and whoever may have killed Brian. Like Brian must have been the toast of the town to these people.
Right. He must have been like the sheriff.
Well, let's rewind a little bit. We really find out, kind of, we said it, but to get into it, we really find out why Kathleen wants Henry so bad, because Sam has leukemia. He was getting real sick. He needed some medicine, and it was some top-notch medicine that he needed from Fedra.
And he gave them the leader of the resistance. And
he gave the leader of the resistance, would happen to be Kathleen's brother. So now Kathleen is in a blood feud because Henry sold out her brother. And then, like what Boss said earlier, actually what both of them said earlier, Kathleen's brother said, hey, it's all good, baby. These things happen the way they're supposed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be mean towards him. Don't basically let him live. Let him be. It's all right.
Trying to save his brother's life.
Exactly.
And, right. Here's the thing. The way that she was out for blood, I thought that maybe, and this is just, my brain, y'all know me.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, okay, the story was going to go that Henry and her brother, Mark, were in a scuffle and Henry accidentally shot Mark.
Killed him.
Mm-hmm.
Killed him. Like,
I was thinking the same thing when they were in that underground part in the sewer, and he was like, when I told you I never killed anybody?
Right.
I was like, oh, who did you kill, partner? Like I thought that's where it was going. And it was
even when after he told Joel the story, Joel kind of had the idea like, wait, maybe calling him a rat wasn't such a good thing.
Right. You were put in an impossible situation.
Right.
You did what you had to do.
For your brother.
Right. And Joel, and you can see it in Joel's eyes. I would do the same damn thing. I've done the same thing.
You carried your daughter for like a whole football field. Okay. Like,
more than that.
More than that.
And
he ran.
The matter is, like this, and this is the part that upset me, and I think that's why I started crying prematurely.
Mm-hmm.
Not only did you do this for your brother brother is deaf,
mm-hmm.
and if your brother has leukemia, that means that he's sick. So you need to move around. What you gonna do? You just gonna leave him? You gonna try to put him in a backpack and carry him with you? Like it's three things like against you automatically. So you mean to tell me that I'm trying to save my brother's life because number one, he's already, and again, I'm not being mean, he's already a liability because he can't hear. And then if he's extremely sick, probably vomiting and nauseous, and he needs more rations. We played Oregon Trail. You get dysentery, decrease the rations. He needs more rations. He needs more rest. Like, come on.
And then when they get there,
fam, let's analyze this.
When they get there, and that truck, and Joel pops the driver of that truck, and the truck veers off and hits the house, blows up, whatever. And she gives that speech to them while they were hiding behind the car.
Stop right there. She gives the speech, and I'm gonna just give it. She was basically saying maybe he deserved to die. Have you ever thought about that was in the plans? I'm gonna tell you this right now. I would have launched that gun at her face.
Right. I'm gonna shoot that bitch in her head. Bitch, fuck you.
Remember, he had no more bullets. That's what I said. I would have threw the piece. I would.
Let's look at what she was saying. She was like, "Have you ever thought he was supposed to die? Kids die all the time, Henry."
And bitch, so do adults. And now you're
like her own logic is is so blind that her own logic works against her in the same way.
But see, knowing me, and I'm thinking I'm about to die in that situation. Yeah, that's why your brother died too. Like,
right. It was meant for your brother to die, bitch. Like, I'm ignorant.
Look, I'd have been Joel up in that tower because they know I'm there, but they can't see me, but I can hear them, so I know they can hear me. I'd be like, your brother was a pussy. They're like, they see it and like, what? He was a puss. I was like,
But I mean, I had a question about that whole scene.
Remember, it's all new to the game. So, I mean, it's all new to the show. So, what's up?
At no point could Joel get a clear headshot on her.
I think at that point, he has been surviving 20 plus years. He knows they know where he is because he's already been shooting.
Yeah.
If he sticks his head out to 40 plus people with guns,
though he could have killed her.
That's right. He could have killed her. They could have lit that window up, right, and he would have been gone. But so I think at that point,
of course, we get bar none one of the scariest moments in TV that I've ever seen in my probably in film.
I will say in zombie media history, I have never been like other than Train to Busan. Like when they showed up, at no point when they came out that hole, I thought anybody was gonna make it.
Like, bro,
I didn't.
Did you see? Did you see the featurette afterwards?
Yes,
Did you see it, Aranya?
No, I never watched.
Those were actual people.
They were people.
That wasn't CG.
That was people.
They got people.
Right, 1, 2, 3, go.
Right. The way they hired the dude who did what they say the Planet of the Apes trilogy from this past decade to be the movement coach, and they had just a bunch of stunt actors, and it was just like, say what? So you mean the one that was out in front that got mushed on by them feet? Like, was somebody really? He popped up because you step on me twice, I'm just gonna be down here the rest of the time. Just whoo!
Now, what we said was the truck that crashed into the house, sunk into the ground. The whole fucking Kansas City swarm came out that hole.
Because we skipped when Henry said they drove the infected underground, and I was like, how? Because
I've
never seen somebody make these things run away.
If you think about it, 20 years of cruelty. You can put your wheels in place to see how they drove them underground. Like, there were some sacrifices made.
You had to be an elaborate plan, or just
there were some sacrifices made.
Injuring somebody and throwing them in like a hole. Like so, but them boys came out there like if you just stomped an ant bed.
Now,
like that.
Now, let's turn it over to Aranya Miss, who is currently muted. I hope she knows that. You muted. Take the mute. But
yeah, my timer is going off. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna turn it over to you. What was your thoughts when you saw the big bad, aka the bloater, come out that ground?
Bloater.
First of all, he's lumpy. Start with that. Let's start with the obvious. He's moist.
Okay.
He's lumpy. I'm sickened. Then when he stomped out that person, I was like, just everybody run. Just fucking run. Like, I don't understand what's happening. My brain is going like this. Oh no, everybody's gonna die. And I was like, wait, what episode is it? Everybody can't die. But I'm just feeling like everybody gonna get munched. Right? I'm like, everybody gonna get munched on. I don't know who gonna make it. Oh my God. And I couldn't even focus. I'm just like, there's zombies everywhere. Then you got the big lumpy tooth monster just yucking everywhere. And I'm like, oh.
And look, Perry tells Kathleen, you got to go.
Right. Like,
the next thing you know,
Perry was a real shooter for who he was.
Perry got that stand and started shooting. That bloater went up to Perry and was like,
what are you doing?
Like, he literally went.
Yeah,
and that's the kill in the game, and they always cut away from it right when it happens. Like if a bloater grabs you, it's an instant game over kill.
Instant.
So like you have to keep your distance throughout.
But yeah,
he grabbed that boy. Like that's the kill he always does. He grabs your upper jaw, it starts to separate, and
it just cuts.
Right, it cuts because you just see your character clawing at the hands. It's like
so. Okay, no game here. Are they going to explain where the giant Sour Patch Kid comes from?
They did
He's the most infected.
They did in the first 2 episodes. Remember, like when they said multiples have been walking around, you get more infected the longer you've been infected.
I know, but he big. Like the other ones, the
clicker. Yeah,
but he big.
Right. So like
He's
it's like this.
Wrestler.
It's like this. It's like the fast ones that you saw running besides the clickers. Those are like early affected, maybe a year, 2 years. Clickers, maybe 5 years. Bloaters, good 10 years in the game. They 10 toes down.
What you telling me is it's some more looking like Omas, just running around real big. Just I've been infected since the first day I accidentally slipped and fell.
Let us who played the game say so. That's you first meet a bloater back at Billstown and you fight him inside a high school gym.
Yes.
That's one. Later in the game, you were stuck in a hallway with 2 of them.
That's too many. That's too many.
And there's also other little smaller infected in there. Now remember, you have no backup, so it's you yourself. Now, in the second game, you fight one in these 2 rooms. It's just like look. There's multiple points in this series where you fight 2 of them, and those are stressful.
Yes.
Because you try not to use up all your resources. Because it's still resource management.
They hit you. Finito.
Right. It's done. Like
I don't like it.
But go ahead.
I said I don't like it. They're juicy and they're lumpy and it makes my stomach sick. And I
like
thought
those are the most
Dead Island made me sick because they look kind of like a tooth a little bit. But this
shout out to Speedy Bartaka Moose.
Because that's what he does in the game. He takes off patches of the cordyceps on his skin and throws it at you, and it creates a mushroom cloud
that you can't stay in.
That you cannot stay in. So he is a Speedy Bartaka Moose.
He is a Speedy Bartaka Moose.
I would die on sight as soon as he went. I'm done.
Now we had that fear-inducing scene to get backdoored by the other fear-inducing scene of Ellie getting stuck in a car with the most flexible clicker ever.
The child clicker. Look, shout out to them in this show for showing a child zombie in the first place.
True.
Because I don't think I've seen one since little old girl in season 2 of The Walking Dead.
I think so too.
And what is it? The one where they went to the mall, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead.
Oh, the baby. That's way back in 2004. That's way back in 2004.
Like, the little bitch in the hallway. I was like, "This, kill it."
Right. So it's like they afraid to show children just fucked up, but whatever. They like, look, you see this little bitch? She flopped in there like she was a member of the Bat family. Like she
bitch, if you don't, I'm gonna stab you and get out.
And then our 3, Sam, Henry, and Ellie, they start to run towards the house, and here come Kathleen. Henry, stop. And it was like, woman.
Right. Turn around. Like,
bitch, what doing?
Do you see what's happening?
You still on that bullshit.
Thank God Child Clicker leaped off and launched on her and went to work. And it was like
started that ground and pound game real heavy. You
I was like, ew.
Just like wait a
minute. I'm gonna eat your face. I'm gonna rip stuff like sooner. I ain't gonna lie to y'all though. As soon as the ground opened up over there, I'd have been gone. They'd have looked back and been like, "Where'd they go?"
I'm right. Look, as soon as that truck would have fell in that hole, I was like, "Well,
I guess I'll move on out."
like they ain't looking at me no more. Me, Sam, and Ellie would have been just. We'd have already been at the house with Joel. We'd have been out the back door across the water.
In the forest, running.
Hey, I'm on y'all team now.
All right. I'd have been over there with them guns like, oh, shit. Get in the car. We going.
Right.
I'd have been bringing up the rear. Like, we out.
And I'm surprised that none of the people that were standing out there in their, mercenary parade wasn't like, I'm gonna get back in one of these vehicles that we so crafted and burn off.
Look,
Well, you got to think.
In your
and
ground. What are you doing?
well, you got to think. They were surprised with that attack. They thought they had the weapons to suppress it and subdue them all, but
they kept
Like
coming.
I said, something is
the
wrong
hubris of humans.
in this whole series. Something is wrong with these people's fight or flight. It's broken. I don't know
I
if
agree.
it's bred out of them or whatever, because the first thing that I'm going to think is safety, not me standing my ground when they open up like a bunch of roaches. It's too many, and you have created these vehicles for this reason. Get
Right.
back in your vehicle and burn off.
It's like it's like in the featurette. What I think it was Neil said. You as a human, you think, how did we lose?
Mm-hmm.
And then this shows you point blank clear how we lost this
Mhm.
fight. Like, because you can think we got all the guns in the world, and I think the last thing, like America, there's every 100 citizens, there's like 120 something guns. It's like, okay, so we should be able to fight something off. No, because it's something like that, and we see it just takes one to get a hold of you. If there's, and then the infection spreads as quickly as we saw in the first 2 episodes when they had that list of the timetable. It depends on where you're bitten. If you're bitten anywhere above the waist, you got 2 hours at most. You see how quickly we lost, and ain't shit you could do. Like, you could think like America has all these guns and we be able to fight. America went down. Just think about everywhere else that doesn't have as much protection.
Man,
Like, the world is gone.
Gone.
Like
it's not coming back.
It's done. It's just so...
And then, of course, we start to get more into we about to really check into Heartbreak City, because our 4 survivors get to the motel, and Ellie and Henry are
Sam.
So I'm sorry, Sam are having conversations, and then he shows that he was bit. And child, when she was like, "My blood can heal you,"
my blood is medicine, and she slid open her hand. I was like,
once again,
in my head,
once again,
I was like, they made some changes to the show. Maybe they'll change this a little bit.
Because once again, I'm pretty sure Aranya was feeling different. I'm sitting there like, I played the game. I know what's about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So Aranya, what was you feeling when the bite was revealed and Ellie was like, "I can hear you with my..." So take us through your emotions.
Okay, so just because I haven't played the game don't mean that I've probably watched more zombie movies than all of you. Okay.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And especially zombie is one of my favorite subgenres. I was thinking to myself, they might go out on a limb and make this work, but 9.5 out of 10, this is not going to work. I literally have never seen anybody be like, I'm immune. My blood is going to help you who has been bitten. But I did think he had a little more time. So I was like, okay, well, I was like, she tried it. Okay. He's scared. Okay. I did not think that, come daybreak, he was
now. More foreshadowing when he asks, "Could you stay up with me?" More foreshadowing to another heartbreaking story we will see at some point in this show. But yeah. And then, he's sitting on the edge of the bed, and I was like,
I'm sitting there thinking, like, ain't no point. I was thinking, like, they made some changes to the show. Maybe they'll make a little change. And it was like, when he was sitting still, because at no point through that show was that boy ever still.
Yeah.
Like I was like, he's gone, fam. And when he turned around and started snapping at her, I was like,
To be fair, before we get to the scene where he shows that he's bitten, and again, I don't know the story. I thought when they were under the car and those evil goblins were attacking, I thought Henry was going to be the one to get bit, and then Sam was going to have to stay with them because Henry, of course, is gone, and he's going to have to put a bullet in his face. That's what I honestly thought was going to happen.
Well, kudos for you being optimistic, but
yeah,
as we saw, he chased Ellie in the living room. Of course, Henry and Joel reacting, and Henry was like, "No, no, 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 no."
Right.
And he shoots him, and then he was like, "Oh no, what did I just?" Literally played out just like that in the game. He shoots him.
In the
oh
game,
no,
though,
what did I do?
He says a lot more because, like in the show, Joel went for the gun. He was like, Henry got it first. He's like, "That's my brother," and he was like, "We ain't doing this," and it just still snapping at Ellie. And Joel's like, "Henry, we can't." He like, "That is my fucking brother." Like, and then Henry looks at the situation maybe a couple more seconds and pops him, and he's like, and that's when he goes into like, "What have I done?" Like this, that,
and literally, almost just like in the show, just literally boom, and it literally fades to black.
Right, and Joel doing the whole thing like in the game. Just, Henry, give me the gun. But please give me the gun. Just give it to me.
And
please
to be fair, my non-game brain was like, and I've seen this in other zombie films, especially when it's two relatives. Like if it's a kid, you know, they somehow subdue the kid and put like let's say a log in their mouth to keep them from biting. And you live now with him in the bathroom permanently, and then they leave him there. So that was another thing that crossed my mind because I've seen that before, you know, in other horror movies. Everything transpired quick, and I didn't have no more spit in my mouth, and I was like, "Well, now I'm snotty, and this is how it is."
And then, you know, we see the final moments of them burying Sam and Henry, and you know, Ellie writing "I'm sorry" on his little pad and everything, and it was just, it was heartbreaking all over again. But it was the featurette that actually brought the tears to my eyes. So before we continue, shout outs to Lamar Johnson, who played Henry, and Kevon Woodard, who played Sam, and he really is deaf for real.
Oh, I thought so.
And they said Lamar Johnson and Bella Ramsey, who plays Ellie, learned ASL right then and there to communicate for the show and everything. So definitely shout outs to those three.
Shout out to, I'm gonna say the last 5 years. Wait, when did Orphan come out?
Orphan was what?
The first
early 2010s?
Like early 2010s.
Okay, so maybe the last 10 years for using people in films that actually that applies to them, because the little girl in Orphan who's deaf, she's really deaf. And like I was reading in A Knock at the Cabin. I don't know why I want to say more stuff after that. A Knock at the Cabin, the two guys are really gay. Like, thank you for using
and the actress who played
in A Quiet Place. A Quiet Place,
no,
the little girl.
Not A Quiet Place. I'm talking about Eternals.
Makari. She's
Makari.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
She's really,
I think it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful, and I like it. And I just wanted to say that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but the featurette made me cry more, or made me bring the tears more. And yes, I ain't afraid to admit it. I was on my couch once again, emotionally wrecked, thanks to episode 3, and then now. But the featurette, because like the boss said earlier, they wanted to give him this disability to let you know that he really had to rely on his brother. And of course, myself, Aranya Miss, and Cosmic Boss, we are all older siblings. So now I'm thinking to myself, at what lengths would I go to as the eldest to protect Tyke B? You know, granted, we're only 5 years apart. We're not that big of a gap like Sam and Henry. But it's like, at what lengths would I go to as the eldest sibling to protect my brother? And that's what made me just emotionally wreck on the couch. I'm just on the couch like, son of a bitch.
Hey, we know that me and H-Town J are 3 years apart. And when I say, I'm sorry, I'd have to beat y'all with a stick with a nail in it. Get away from my brother. Like,
Look,
y'all gonna have to leave me.
Me and my two little sisters, like, I don't know if I ever told any, like, I'm sure I've told Scoop this probably long ago. Me and the middle sister, the middle child, we were at daycare together. She would start fights, like, I mean, serious altercations, and then get her lick in and run to me because I was the older brother. I'm about 4.5 to 5 years older. And then I would have to finish the fight with a younger child than me because they weren't going to do nothing to me. And it's like, I would always get in trouble because, like, look, you ain't going to do nothing. I don't care what she did to you. Like, I don't care that she farted in your pancakes this morning. Like, that ain't my business. Like, what you ain't going to do is put your hands on her. So, like, I'm right there with you. Like don't, either one of them.
So being an eldest sibling, that's what really brought the tears on, because I'm thinking, like, damn, like, that is just because I mean, once again, to be in that situation, like, to just be in all of that, knowing that, damn, I had to betray the resistance as a whole to make sure my brother had his medicine. I'm doing everything I need to do to protect my brother, and then he gets infected. I had to kill my brother. Then it's like, I can't live with myself from that. I'm gonna end it.
But I want to be the one to have to put my brother down, though. Like, nobody else, nobody. And I agree with that. My heart was hollering, no, this is my brother. You don't get to just kill my brother in front of me. No, I understand what he is, and now he has to live in the bathroom because I couldn't do it. And this is where we live now.
Look, we have this 3. I have joked with each of you about if y'all get bit, there's gonna be a Shaun of the Dead situation. You're gonna be chained up in the shack until whoever comes out with a cure. Because that's gonna be that. Like, look. I mean, I'm right there with you. You ain't gonna be the one to kill my friends or my family. No,
I mean, don't forget what we saw in Train to Busan. When old girl saw her sister on the other side, she opened that door like,
so be it.
Right.
It is what it is now.
Right.
I am now a cordyceps too. Nah.
But yeah, it was another heartbreaking episode of The Last of Us. It was a lot of parallels with the game. It wasn't too many deviations. But it was still heartbreaking because, once again, seeing this show from the beginning, we knew we had to get to the Sam and Henry portion if you played the game. You know, we weren't expecting the Bill and Frank thing because that caught everybody off guard. We wasn't expecting the Bill and Frank, but we knew Sam and Henry. We knew that was going to be emotional wreck because they shared the same fate. And boy, it still was like, damn, they could have altered it a little bit though. Like, but
just a little, so they could have went with them,
But yeah, it just lets you know, man, this is a crazy, messed up world.
Right.
That is portrayed in The Last of Us. And child, take me day one.
Like,
take me.
Because the heartbreak ain't over. Like, there's from what I remember of the game, because I played through it multiple times. There's that.
Oh, episode.
There's that one in the woods.
Ooh.
Like, and I don't mean the ending. I mean the speech.
I know what you mean.
I mean the speech. We know who else is coming.
Hey, I'm gonna let these people know.
Kathleen is mild picante sauce compared to.
There is 4 episodes left, and the one thing that I can tell y'all to do is just buckle up.
Because we know At least the last 2.
Buckle up. Now, of course, there's been some small deviations they've been making, but some moments. Buckle up.
I'm ready.
Right?
Just drop them now, please. Just
right. You Rosita?
Scoot, you froze, so didn't nobody.
Yeah, you froze for a second.
All of y'all froze on my end.
So what did you say?
Anything else you want to add?
No, it was a good episode. It was very heartbreaking. I watched it last night after we were talking about it. I watched it last night and I was just like, I need to watch something upbeat now because I was really sad and I didn't want to have bad dreams.
Boss, anything else you want to add?
I know the next one is them getting to Wyoming. If that was the preview.
Yeah, they showed him reuniting with Tommy.
So
yeah,
I'm just ready for the rest of the show. I want it now. I don't have nothing else to add. Then I just need the rest of the show now. Oh man, just now, please.
Anything else for me, Tyke B? I love you, and hopefully we would not. Let's just say that
you didn't say nothing. You
said, "Oh, you didn't say nothing." Like you froze, and you just.
That's what
I didn't freeze. It didn't freeze on my end, but we wouldn't share that same fate. Hopefully, we'll be more like Joel and Tommy. Let's just say that.
We all gonna survive with our damn siblings. Damn it.
Right.
Ooh, child. But yeah, episode 5, y'all. It was a doozy. It had a lot going on in between heartbreak, fear, heartbreak. All I'm saying is that was a roller coaster of an hour.
It was. It was really good and exciting, and they broke out there like roaches. I'm not going to forget that. I've seen that in the Hoarders movie.
But before we go, you know what was even more fucked up about that? After they just caused their death and destruction, they just went on about their business. They didn't linger. They just went on.
What they lingering for?
They just went on.
They wasn't there to make friends. They was like this, kill. All right. Good game. Come on, y'all. Let's go. I want to know where the big dummy went.
Right on with him.
Wherever he wanted to go. That's where he went. Wherever he wanted to go.
Yeah.
But thank y'all for tuning in. Of course, we'll be back. The next couple of episodes might be a little weird, but we got to figure it out. You know, some scheduling issues, especially on my end. We'll figure it out. But we'll still make sure we give y'all this content because we still got 4 episodes left, people.
Yep,
absolutely.
And it comes back on the 19th, so it's not a Friday. That was the only time. It'll be back on next Sunday. For myself, Scootaloo, Cosmic Boss, aka Cordyceps King, Run Your Miss, aka I Don't Want Your Cordyceps Kisses. Once again, we've been the Less Than Stealthy Ninjas. Follow us across all platforms. Just search Less Than Stealthy Ninjas, one big word, and boom, you will see artwork and eventually these 3 beautiful faces.
Thanks.
Thank y'all again, and until next time, don't get caught by the cordyceps.
Yeah.
Leave that bread alone.
Peace.